for the how you can proceed for the research on green composite. So all overview of this topic I will go through this session. So what is green composite? Actually, it is a combination of biodegradable polymer and natural fiber. So this green composite will give you many advantages because they are very light in weight, and these are the potential candidate to replace many of the traditional composites and also some of the traditional metals, ceramics, etc. So main advantages, including lightweight and all, main advantage is the biodegradability of this material. So it can degrade to carbon dioxide and air and water upon degradation, and that will not harm the environment. And also you can utilize this material for many of the applications, but there are some challenges and limitations also. So if you know all over the material, the properties, what are the limitation, what are the challenges and all, so that you can improve its applications and also properties, and you can use this material for a vast area. So this session will give you an idea how you can improve the property of green composite, that is biodegradable composite, and you can increase its application in various areas. And so as I have already told you that biocomposites will be composed of natural fiber and polymers. So the polymers will be biodegradable, and it is the matrix of the composite. And the polymer, but the biodegradable polymer has the limitation of low heat resistance. So we have to check out the heat properties and also the mechanical properties of this kind of biodegradable matrix, so that you can use this kind of polymers in high heat application areas. And natural fiber will be having low density and compared to the specific strength. And but natural fiber also have some limitation, and we have to overcome this limitation for appropriate applications. So for increase the properties of the natural fiber, we can go through some treatment to the natural fiber. And also we have to check the interfacial bonding between the matrix and the natural fiber. um, so mainly the limitation will come as a poor fiber matrix addition, then high moisture uptake and low thermal resistance, then limited impact performance. And also the main disadvantage is the process temperature and durability. So if you overcome all this limitation, then it is a very good candidate to replace many of the conventional material to reduce the upcoming environmental concern. So what are the biodegradable polymers we can use? And it comes under argopolymers and biopolyesters. So these are the polymers that has been used this recent years and all over the years for research publication and research studies. So I have selected that kind of polymers, but there might be more polymers. If you research, you can get or you can synthesize more biodegradable polymer, that you have to look into. But all over the years, the polymers that has been used as biodegradables are like coming from argopolymers and biopolyesters. So in polymers you will get polysaccharide, animal protein, plant protein. And in biopolyester you can get php, php, pla, pcl. So these are the polymers that has been used by researchers for studies the biodegradability properties, mechanical testing, and all the mechanical strengths. And all over the studies there has been used this polymer to compose composite materials and all. So these are the properties of all the biodegradable polymers that has been used over the years. And if you can check the density in gram per centimeter cube is given, and Tm means the melting temperature in degree centigrade. Tg is the glass transition temperature in degree centigrade. Ts is the tensile strength in megapascal. Eb is the percentage elongation at break. E is the elastic modulus in gigapascal, and Fm is the flexural modulus in gigapascal. So this is a overview of the strength of or the properties of the biodegradable polymers. Based on this property, you can select the required polymers according to the applications. So this data has been already published in one of the review paper. So you can go through my research scholar and green composite and overview. This data you will get. So accordingly you can select the biodegradable polymer based on the properties, and you can go for the further studies. So similarly, the natural fiber that has been used over the years for fabricating the green composites can be divided into minerals, animals, plants. So mostly resources has been used the plant based natural fiber coming from wood, bus, leaf, seed, fruits, stack, grass, seeds, etc. So these are the natural fiber that has been used over the years, but there might be or there must be many natural fiber available in the art that you can utilize for fabricating composite material. um, so these are the properties you can find for the various natural fiber available in the research publications over the years. So overall length of the fiber in that has been used over the years, then diameter of the fiber, density, then tensile strength that has been already measured by the researchers for this natural fiber, then young modulus, then elongation at break, and with water absorptions percentage is also given in this table. This also you can find on the in the research paper, that is green composite and overview. So based on the properties you can select a particular kind of fiber for the application, and you can combine the fiber and the matrix and get a green composite. So fiber extraction method, depending upon the extraction method of the fiber, also that strength of the fiber and the other properties are also dependent. So there are various fiber extraction methods such as mechanical sketching, mechanical decorator, rating process, etc. So mechanical sketching will be a process where you can imagine like a comb and brushing the comb over the fiber and getting the fiber and use the fiber. So you can do it manually, or use machines will be also available for the industrial purpose. And in mechanical decorticator is a kind of, you can imagine two huge what you call gears will be running, and you can push the whatever the fiber you need to extract, you can push between the gears, like you can get sugarcane juice from the sugar, and that remaining fiber you can extract is a kind of that process. So it's a manual or roller mill you can use for this kind of process. Rating process will be like biological rating, mechanical rating, chemical rating, physical rating, etc. So depending on the extraction process, also the fiber quality, fiber strengths are also vary. And you can this if you go inside, you can get many things on fiber extraction process and related properties of the fiber. So based on that you can select any of the extraction process according to the fiber quality, and extract the fiber. So over the years and the research paper, what are the composite has been have been used are like mostly people have been used the PLA as the matrix, or you can say polymer, and along with PLA, the combination you can use NIF, fiber, chicken feeder, jute, cotton, hemp, bamboo, etc. People are using this kind of combination to create composite, and also people are using PCL and with a natural fiber like flax, rice husk, uh, then wheat sisal fiber, etc. So banana fiber, and also you can use PHBV and also some natural fiber. These are the combination. And with PPS, the natural fiber that has been used over the years are this combination, sisal fiber, coir fiber, jute fiber, bamboo fiber, etc. So these are the combination that people are studying over the years, and you can combine other fibers all available on the art, and other polymer material that is degradable can be used, and you can get a composite, biodegradable composite. So, how to fabricate the composite, polymer-based composites? So, different methods are there. So, this method you can use to fabricate the composite, and also depending on the methods, the strength of the composite, properties of the composite may vary. So, the optimization of the method fabricating the composite also you can do. So different methods are like hand layup, compression molding, transfer molding, pultration, filament winding, then resin transfer molding, vacuum assisted resin transfer molding, sheet molding, compound, injection molding, additive manufacturing, etc. So based on this method, also different quality of composite you can get. So always the optimization you can do by fabricating different by different method, and you can optimize the composite based on the strength and properties. Next, application areas. Mainly composites, polymer composites are getting short life product like packaging application, bags, rooms, etc. So now with the further studies and improvement in studies and researches, the composites are also getting, this kind of composites are also getting importance in automobile industries, and structural application, biomedical industries, etc. So with research and gaining knowledge on this kind of composite, we can increase the application area with more structural application and automobile application and industrial application. Next, as I have told that this kind of composite can be degraded to carbon dioxide and water with the enzymatic action of living organism. So uh, the factors that depend on the degradations are the temperature and the humid condition. Also, the chemical crystal structure of the composite, molecular weight of the composite, glass transition temperature and the melting temperature of the polymer, crystallinity of the polymer, surface area of the composite, and condition of the composite at that particular moment. So this kind of factors will be depending on the degradation rate of the particular composite you have fabricated. So obviously the reinforced fiber you will be using for fabricating the composite will be slower down the degradation process of the composite, and at a higher temperature the degradation will be faster, along with a high percentage of humidity. The degradation of the composite will be more. So you can go through one of the paper that is in 2024, Rao and al. Has been given a research paper, published on research paper on recycling and degradation behavior of bamboo fiber and forest green composites fabricated by injection molding. So they have fabricated one composite by injection molding process, and they have used bamboo as a fiber and PLA as a matrix, and they have fabricated bamboo PLA green composite, and they have studied the degradation behavior of the particular composite. So after 48 days of studies, they have found that the composite has absorbs 6.49 percentage of water, and also they have observed some swelling in the composite, that is from the original composite thickness to the swelling, it got 5.56% of swelling. And also they have studied the environmental condition on the mechanical properties of the composite. So they have immersed the composite in water, and then in soil. Then they have kept the composite below 4 degrees centigrade, and also kept in room temperature. So these are the conditions they have kept, and they have studied the tensile, flexural, compression strength, shear strength of the composite, and they have found that water immersion composite got higher reduction in the tensile strength, that is 73.52% of reduction of the tensile strength, 45.14% reduction in the flexural strength, and 51.54% reduction in compressive strength, and 75.00% reduction in shear strength. So they have studied that when they have kept the particular fabricated composite in room temperature, the performance was better compared to when they have kept in water immersion. So also that particular composite they have recycled 5 times. So one of the quality of the green composite, I forgot to tell you, that you can recycle it number of time if you want. So you can, after uh, fabricating one particular composite for particular product, if you don't use the product, you can recycle it to fabricate another product. So this is the another quality of the thermoplastic polymer, or you can say polymer composite. So if you recycle, then there may be some changes in the properties. So they have studied that recycle property, and 5 times they have recycled that particular composite they have fabricated, and they have observed that there is a reduction in tensile strength after 5 times of recycling. Also there is a reduction in flexural strength, compressive strength, and shear strength. So they have concluded that repeated recycling may cause degradation of the composite, and also for poor interfacial bonding between the composite and the fiber and the matrix will happen. That will affect the mechanical properties. And also they have studied the thermal stability of that recycled product. So they have observed that the degradation temperature has been reduced to from 348 degrees centigrade to 329 degrees centigrade. So the degradation temperature also got reduced after recycling. So crystallinity also, they have found that original composite, it's 57.75%, but with a different environmental condition and recycling, the uh, crystallinity also got reduced. So after fifth time of recycling, it is 12.71%. And also after water immersion, so it got reduced, and they have found as 9.41%. And in morphological study, they have checked with STEM, that is scanning electron microscope. After this fifth time recycling, they have observed that some fiber pull out, matrix cracking, fiber splitting, debonding, micro cracks, fiber crushings are they have observed in the particular composite after the recycling process. So this idea will get that degradation behavior also you can study on different kind of composite if you have if you fabricate and study the degradation behavior as well as the recycling behavior of the particular composite. So uh, material properties of the PLA is so mostly people have used PLA as the matrix or the polymer for the green composite. So over the years, whatever they have studied the tensile strength of the PLA based natural fiber with different fiber. So I have tried to include the tensile strength of the particular uh, PLA and different fiber composite. So you can see the tensile strength uh, for that PLA composite is maximum for when you are using PLF and flex fiber, and it is very low. Tensile strength is very low in case of PLA and sessile fiber. So these all are the data available in the research papers. So based on that, you can select particular kind of composite, and also you can use some method to improve the tensile strength of the particular composite by introducing some fillers or nanofillers or something like that. You can think about that to increase the tensile strength. So similarly, the elastic modulus of different composite PLA based composite with different fibers, you can see. So different composite will be giving different elastic modulus, and based on that you can select a particular kind of composite, and also you can think about to increase the um, elastic modulus of the particular composite by using some method. Like flexural strength also, the showing the PLA cellulose is giving maximum flexural strength, and PLA jute is giving minimum flexural strength. So you can get some idea over that to increase the tensile strength, or you can use the particular kind of composite based on that. uh, Similarly, the impact strength of PLA is natural fiber composite. PLA and rayon fiber is showing maximum impact strength, and PLA bamboo is showing the minimum impact strength. And also you can see the PLA knit fiber is showing good impact strength compared to the PLA bamboo uh, composite. So, like that, you can study different mechanical property of the developed PLA composite, or different kind of polymer and composite, different polymer and fiber composite, and you can compare the impacts, flexural strength and compressive strength, tensile strength, etc. And also you can think in the area of increase the properties, mechanical properties, by adding some fillers and all. If you study the thermal property of the king composite, basically three temperature you have to mind. That is a melting temperature, that is generally denoted by Tm. Then glass transition temperature, that is given by Tj, and heat deflection temperature, that is given by HDT. So melting temperature is basically the temperature at which the polymer um, transit to liquid from the solid. Glass transition temperature is when the polymer transit to glassy to rubbery state from a glassy state. And heat deflection temperature is the temperature up to which the composite can remain stable. So this temperature you can obtain and study. So this kind of temperature, to study this thermal behavior, you can use TGA, then DSC, and DTA. Basically, in TGA, you can measure the weight loss of the composite as a function of temperature to evaluate the thermal degradation and stability. And DSC, you can check the melting temperature, then glass transition temperature, and crystallinity of the composite. In DTA, you can measure the temperature difference between the sample and the reference to identify the thermal transition and the reaction. So, what people have observed that what are the factors that will affect the thermal stability of the composite is using if you use some filler while fabricating the composite, that can you increase the heat deflection temperature. Then lower polymerization degree can enhance the heat resistance and increase the dimensional stability. And if the polymer or the fiber is like composed of lower cellulose content, or you can reduce the cellulose content of the fiber or the polymer, then you can increase the heat deflection temperature of the composite. And if you use some method to reduce the crystallinity of the composite, then also then also you can increase the thermal stability, and it will lead to less degradation in a higher temperature. So it will need a higher temperature to degrade. So basically, because of this thermal property or the degradation at a lower temperature, PLA based green composites is getting application area that is short life on lower temperature application area. So the research gap will be here to increase the thermal stability or to increase the thermal capacity of this composite, so that you can use this kind of composite in a higher temperature zone, or you can high applications, or you can increase the thermal stability to that, so that this kind of composite can withstand more temperature or degrade at higher temperature. So you can think about that. So this uh, this is the research gap that you need to look into in case of green composite. Then also people have studied secondary manufacturing of this green composite. What is the primary manufacturing is the fabricating of the green composite by different techniques. There you can there optimize the different fabrication technique, and also study the mechanical and other properties. What in a secondary manufacturing of green composite, that is after fabrication you can use this composite in various application, and there you need some kind of machining to get some kind of hole in the composite, or you may need some surface finish. You may need some do some milling operation to get the smoother surface or different shape of the surface. So this brings you the secondary manufacturing of green composite. So also if you give attention in the secondary manufacturing, then it can lead to an enhance in the application of the, or it can lead to produce a complicated product out of the green composite. So it is very important to study this secondary manufacturing of green composite also. So if you say secondary manufacturing, first comes like machining of green composites. So in machinings, you can see drilling, milling, turning that can be used. That is these are the method generally used for fabricating one product. So if you mostly people are studying on drilling, so if you study on drilling, then major defects during during the machining process will come as a delamination, fiber pull out, matrix burning, chipping. then micro cracking, reduction in strengths, etc. So you have to study each and every machining of this green composite so that you can reduce this kind of damages during the secondary manufacturing. So Uh, so in the research area, people have studied mostly on drilling. Some few studies are available in milling and turning also. So why these damages are occurring during the machining process is because of the high cutting force during the machining process, and also elevated temperature during the machining process. Due to friction, temperature will rise, and this temperature may degrade the particular composite. Also, because of the stress concentration. So in machining, what are the factors we can study? That is the feed rate, spindle speed, tool geometry, depth of cut, machining condition, and also the fiber orientation of the particular composite. If I say fiber orientation means, while fabricating the composite, you may lay down that fiber in different angles. Like for example, you can lay down the fibers in 0 degree, that is called 0 degree fiber orientation. If you lay down this fiber in 45 degree with respect to the composite, then it is a 45-degree lay orientation. If you keep the fiber in a 90 degree, then it is called 90-degree lay orientation. So this direction, how you keep the fiber in the composite, then that also affect the quality of the composite, and also the machining quality of the green composite. So these all the things you can study while optimizing a proper machining surface. So first of all, we'll go to the drilling of green composite. So various studies have been found on drilling of the green composites, and people have studied various process parameters in the drilling. For example, feed rate, spindle speed, then drill geometry, fiber orientation, fiber treatment, reinforced weight percentage, etc. What they have found that most significant parameter that is affecting the drilling quality of the composite is speed are the important factor that is directly influencing the response measure. If I say response measure, that is after particular setting of the parameters of the machine, you can study the response, that is how it is giving you the response after particular machining process. For example, the forces after machining, like thrust force, torque, or quality of the machining surface. And quality, if I say, then comes delamination, surface roughness, chip characteristics, then quality of the whole profile, etc. Then also you can study the tool characteristics, like tool wear, temperature, induced temperature, then tensile strength after the machining process, then microstructure analysis of the composite after the machining process, then same analysis after the machining process, then dimension and circularity of the after drilling process. So these are the response. So as I have told, researchers have found that feed rate and spindle speed is directly affecting the response measures. So say degradable composite, uh, in degradable composite, mostly bamboo PLA has been studied. Also people like combining various fibers to get a hybrid composite to study, like two fibers and one polymer, etc. So why drilling machining in is important in case of green composites. So drilling, making hole is very much important in order to join to composite or assemble to composite. So that can be used in automobiles, aerospace, marine, construction, sports, consumer product, etc. So making hole and get bolted or riveted joint is very much required to get a combination or assemble of the product. So whole quality is very much important in case of mechanical joining. So there should be low thrust, force, and torque. So then less the damage or delamination occurs. So we have to study like that, optimizing the process parameters of the drill bit, so that we can get lesser thrust force and lesser torque, and also getting lesser delamination, surface damage, and surface roughness. So people have used optimization technique like response surface methodology, that is called RSM, Tagoshi optimization technique, regression modeling, neural network, that is ANN, then genetic algorithm, etc. So various statistical models has been used while studying optimizing these process parameters in case of drilling or green composites. So for example, like drilling, milling is also one important machining process. So some researchers have studied the milling of green composite also. So similarly, in case of milling also, cutting speed and feed are found to be most important or significant parameter while giving the response measures. So in case of milling, what the response measured, you can see the surface quality, that is the surface roughness, delamination factor, surface analysis, and also forces you can check, and tool behavior, you can study the tool behavior. So same in case of milling of green composite also, you can go to optimization technique like Tagoshi optimization technique, response surface RSM, then full factorial design, gray relation analysis, fuzzy logic model, and experimental analysis. So why milling is important? Milling is a process where you can get a surface required surface design. Like if you want to make the surface smooth, or you can make some geometry over the surface, then you can use the milling process. So that milling comes under various application, like that kind of surface may be applied in automobile component, furniture, then sports, construction of materials, renewable energy. So any kind of application you may need a surface, and smooth surface or some complicated surface that can be fabricated or obtained by a milling process. So starting the milling of clean composite is also important. So after that, very few studies can be found, like on turning, grinding, then abrasive water jet machining, laser wing machining, etc. So turning process, you can get a cylindrical type of composite, like to reduce the diameter or to reduce the length of the composite. So you can use turning, and that is why the turning of the green composite is also studying. The turning property of the green composite is also important. So what type of composite already people have studied are wood plastic composite, banana fiber, and banana sawdust they have used. So other many kind of green composites are available. So it is a very like where you can get more studies on number of publication, because very few publications are available on turning and grinding on green composite. So you can think on this area. So number of publication you can get if you think on this area. For example, these are the conventional machining process. Also, people are studying on non-conventional machining process on green composites. For example, abrasive water jet machining, laser beam machining, etc. So this area give you a scope or research gap, so that you can go through studying uh, the various machining on these composites, and get a number of research publication, because very few number of publications are coming on this area. So you can think on this. So if you go on turning also, you can optimize the process parameters like cutting speed, feed rate, spindle speed, depth of cut, then tool nose radius and cutting conditions. So these parameters you can get some levels, and also get some responses like surface roughness, turning dimension, material removal rate, etc. Also you can study the chip quality in turning. Similarly, in grinding, the process parameter you can select like rotational speed, feed rate, and already people have studied the material on wood, plastic, banana, sawdust, etc. And response, you can get surface roughness of the composite after grinding. Then other grinding dimension. Then abrasive jet machining, that is also called AWJM. So the process parameter you can select while studying the abrasive water jet machining, then first speed, water pressure, then stand of distance, abrasive particle size, pumping system pressure, nozzle speed, etc. So already what people have studied on banana sawdust, and banana fiber, wood dust, banana epoxy. So I think very few or negligible studies are done on green composite, PLA bamboo, etc. So in abrasive water jet machining, you can get the response measures like taper angle, then width, surface roughness, delamination, then process time. In laser beam machining, what are the process parameter you can study are laser power, cutting speed, then etching speed, pulse duration, frequency, and hatching angle. So the response measure you can get on this laser beam machinings, taper angle, width, surface roughness, and same analysis, micro hardness, etc. So the same analysis at a micrographical analysis you can do in any kind of machining process. So that after machining, how the morphology or the structure or micrograph of this composite comes, or any damage or delamination, you can study over that same analysis. So if you study more, like if you do research on this area, then also this your finding will help to optimize this process parameter, and also the finding will help uh, to get some idea, or some get some method, or to increase the strength or machinability properties of the green composite. And you can use this composite in more complicated areas, or more structural application. Then another joining a secondary manufacturing process is the joining process. So after mentioning, joining process is very much important. Why? Because if you do hole, after that mechanical join is important, like nut and ball, or riveted join, or screw join, or pin join is important. So you have to study after joining how this material is giving responding, that you have to study. So other than mechanical joining, other kind of joining methods are available. For example, adhesive bonding, that is also called chemical joining, and hybrid joining that will be using adhesive as well as the fastener, that is mechanical plus adhesive. So in mechanical joining, you can use bolt and nut, whatever drill hole you have made and optimized that particular hole you can use for joining the mechanical joint. So advantages of this mechanical joint is easy to assemble and also disassemble when not required. Then high load capacity, carrying capacity, and low cost and widely used. But there are some limitation in mechanical joining. So main disadvantages is the drilling induced damage or stress concentration, you can say, and delimitation around the holes and extra weight because of the uh, metal part. So you can use adhesive bonding instead of mechanical joining. In case of adhesive joining, you can use epoxy as adhesive, then polyurethane as adhesive, then acrylic adhesive or bio-based adhesive. So this kind of adhesive you can use to join this composite, and it will give more uniform stress distribution. No hole for this kind of joining. That is why stress concentration or hole induced damage will be not there, and this will be light in weight, and also corrosion resistance because there will be no metallic part in here. But there are some limitation over this adhesive bonding also. For example, surface preparation needed, cutting time required, then sensitive to temperature and moisture, and lower peeling strength. That is, after join, you cannot remove the joining part, or if you try to uh, dejoin the part, and delimitation will occur. So to overcome all the disadvantages of mechanical and adhesive bonding, another joining method is there, that is hybrid joining, that will use both adhesive and fastener. So that is bonded bolted joint or bonded riveted joint, bonded screw joint, etc. So this kind of joint will give high joint strength, improve fatigue life, then better damage tolerance, reduce peel and bearing stresses, and reliable. Then some disadvantages also there in hybrid joining will be it will give one more complex design, then higher manufacturing cost, and heavier than the adhesive joining. So this kind of joining you can use and optimize in a green composite. So some research literatures are available for this kind of joining on biocomposite. Techniques. So these are the techniques people are using to join a non-conventional technique that are people are using to join mostly thermoplastic composites or thermoplastic green composites. For example, friction stir joining. Uh, that will be using a stair that will be rotating over the composite, and because of the friction, heat will generate, and that heat you can use for joining the two parts. Then ultrasonic welding, that high speed solid state process, and this is very good for natural fiber thermoplastic composite. So some research papers are available on ultrasonic welding on green composite. You can go through, and research then comes resistance welding. For particular this resistance welding, you need some heating element that you have to place in, because this green composite would be non-conductive, but you need some conductive heating element in order to do the resistance welding. So you can think about that, some heating element you can put in the overlapping joint, and then you can do resistant welding. Then induction welding, that is electromagnetic induction heats will be using for heating and joining the thermoplastic composite. Then thermal hot plate welding, then laser welding and microwave welding. So if you see these non-conventional techniques, friction stir welding, ultrasonic welding, resistance welding, these three methods are like popular in joining green composite in the literature. So though very few literatures are available, and you can think on other joining methods also to uh, get more useful data on this green composite. So also this kind of joining process, the overall properties of this composite also will be taking part in giving the strength of this joint, because whatever the fiber and the matrix you are taking to fabricate the composite, that overall strength of that composite also add on this property of this secondary manufacturing of this biocomposites. Also the surface treatment you are using and environmental condition, then joint design geometry and the process parameters of this kind of joining. So in mechanical joining, what are the process parameter you can say, like overlapping length, and then what type of thickness you are using for joining, what are the thickness of adhesive you are using for joining. So these all things will be affect overall strength of the composite. So as I have told, the quality of joint of the biocomposite will be affected by a number of parameters. First of all, the material properties. Material properties means what are the type of fiber you are using, whether you are using jute, flax, that properties I have told that individual strength of the fiber, individual property of the fiber will add the strength on the overall joint quality. Then fiber volume fraction, then fiber orientation, matrix type, fiber treatment, and moisture absorption tendency. So this will be affecting the joint quality. Secondly, the joint design parameter, that is uh, the joint. What are the parameters you are using for joining? As I have told, the overlapping length. If you are using joining by lap joint, then what is the overlapping length? Then the joint geometry, like path lab, then hole diameter, what is the diameter of the hole, what are the quality of the bolt and nut you are using, or what are the rivet you are using, and then edge distance, then spacing, adhesive layer thickness. So these all will be affecting the overall whole quality. So there are so much to optimize to get a whole quality, good whole quality. Then surface condition, that for example surface roughness, surface cleanness, surface treatment, wettability, then adhesive preparation, penetration, etc. So this surface condition is very much important in case of adhesive joining, because the adhesion and cohesion property will depend on the surface of the this preparation quality of the composite. So that factor you can take to optimize the joint quality of that kind of joining process. Then the process parameter in case of adhesive bonding, the adhesive type, the type of adhesive you are using. So you can think about more biodegradable adhesive kind of thing, or bioadhesive kind of thing, so that whole product joining product will be a bio based product, will be not having any synthetic part or any metallic part. So you can think like that, um, to get a good bioproduct and having a good strength also. So the curing temperature of the adhesive, then curing pressure of the adhesive, then curing time of the adhesive, then adhesive application method. So these are the process parameter you can select in case of adhesive bonding. In case of mechanical joining, already you have to optimize the hole, as I have told. The drill hole, that is to optimize the hole quality, you have to optimize the process parameter of the drilling, that is drill speed, drill feed, then drill geometry, etc. After optimizing the hole, you can optimize the mechanical joint parameters, for example torque, then clamping force, etc., and then quality of the bolt and nut you are using, so that you can optimize to get a good quality of the joint. Then other welding processes, like as I then in ultrasonic welding you can optimize the frequency, then pressure, etc. So you can go through this process parameter and optimize to get a good whole quality. Secondly, after getting a whole quality, you need to after get a joint product, or by means of adhesive bonding or mechanical joining or hybrid joining or any kind of welding processes, you have to go through a testing process, like after joining what are the tensile strength it is giving, or what are the compressive strength it is giving, what are the other mechanical property it is giving. You have to test that to get idea that after joining, if the property degrades or the property remain intact, or the property of the joining product got like increase in the strength or decrease in the strength, you will get idea. Then also the loading condition, after testing, during the testing the loading condition will give that tensile loading, shear loading, bending loading, fatigue loading, impact loading, creep loading. So these are the condition you have to test it to get a good quality of whole, sorry, good quality of joint, so that you can think this product in a complex area of application. Also we have to think about the environmental factors, for example how it is affecting by the temperature, humidity. You can test on water immersion, UV radiation, chemical exposure, then aging and weathering. So because this high temperature humid condition may degrade this composite and also may affect the joining performance over the time. So all these things you have to optimize to get a good whole quality, and get a whole product. So these are the overall things on the green composite, and I have tried to give you idea what are the research gap available, and you can think on the research gap, or the you can think out of the box to get more idea or method to increase the property of either the composite or either the joining quality or the mechanical property to get more uh, good product, and also to increase the area of application of such kind of composite. So I'd like to conclude after these things. So you may ask, if you have any doubt, you may ask after this conclusion. So if I conclude on this, you can say that green composite is a applicable or good candidate to replace many of the uh, synthetic composite or many of the metallic product, and it is a biodegradable matrix, so you can use it a solution to the environmental concern, but it has some limitation, and it has some limited area of application. This challenges like interfacial addition, moisture uptake, thermal limitation, and required to required required attention or focus, and you can think out of the box to get optimize these processes and optimize the material selection proper processes, optimize the surface treatment processes, optimize the or so a continued research focus is required on this area to increase the area of application of the green composite. So if you have any doubt, you can ask me here, or you can contact me in this email address, and this is my mobile phone number. So also, if you need some data regarding the strength and like research paper, so you can contact me. So my research focus on this green composite only. So I can help you share some research ideas, or um, share some research paper regarding this. So
Thank you, ma'am. So, from the audience,
yes sir.
if anybody is having any doubt, you can ask me.